I looked at my depth gauge and we were suddenly at 17 meters. Within a minute, we had gone from 5 meters down to 17 meters. I'm not panicking about all my drafts being deleted. I'm fine. All right, I got a couple of fun Q&A questions, so let's dive right into them. If you guys don't know, my name is Kat and I'm a scuba diving instructor and a scientist educator and a PADI ambassador diver. First question I have is, what's my favorite species of shark? Thresher shark. These deep sea sharks are absolutely incredible. They have really big eyes and the longest tail to body ratio of any shark in the world. They are also extremely fast and hunt in a very unique way. They will stop mid-water and use their tail as a whip and get their prey just like that. Whoa, whiplash, and then grab it with their mouth after they stunned it with their tail. I was lucky enough to dive with them in the Philippines. They usually swim most of their life pretty deep, but at 5 a.m. they would come up to the top of this bombing, which was situated at around 30 meters, and we got to see them, which was absolutely incredible. Thresher sharks, check them out if you have a chance. They're also very endangered, so just one of the many reasons we need to protect sharks. The question I had, a little bit less fun, is about the involvement towards sustainability and climate action in Australia. As this person pointed out, thanks Jonathan, it is extremely shocking in many places I've lived here. As you guys know, I've lived in mining towns where a lot of the mindset is still very coal-based centric. So unfortunately, it is not as progressive as I may like. I am part of the education sector as well. I teach high school, and while a lot of the kids are mindful of our planet and being sustainable and making green choices, a lot of the older generation's thoughts are still trickling down into, yeah, who cares about using plastic, and coal is the best and green energy is useless. But there is a large amount of people in Australia who do care, and just recently they voted more Greens into the parliament than ever before, so we are trending towards a greener, more sustainable future. But I can't vote yet, so if you can, please vote wherever you are, because it is up to the politicians and the governments to put in regulations to stop big companies from just being able to destroy everything. I'm fine. There's a lot of fine in this video. So where would I recommend doing a scuba diving course for a newbie diver? So I have a whole video about the open water course. Highly recommend you watch that. I get into a lot of details about all things to expect from the open water course, and as well where you should do it. Now, I'm a big proponent of getting your open water course wherever you have sufficient time to. So even if it's in your home country where the conditions aren't that great, but you have the time to really go through the theory, do the pool sessions and your full open water dive in a nice, calm environment where you're not rushed by deadlines such as planes leaving, or you only have 2 boat trips scheduled. So get certified at home wherever you are, get nice and comfortable. If you need to redo any sections, you'll have the time to. You can do additional dives there to make sure you're a really confident, certified diver before you go out on a diving holiday, or before you go to the Great Barrier Reef or invest a lot of money to go diving, because it is a very expensive thing and you might as well enjoy it. And trust me, you will enjoy it far more if you're a certified diver. That is a good certified diver, so you've already mastered your buoyancy and you can bring your camera along, get amazing photos, rather than the instructor or dive guide there having to drag you around like on March. Should newbies buy their own masks? So I have a couple of videos again about masks, including my little short here of what to look for when you're picking out a mask, and in general must-have equipment. I'm a massive proponent of having your own mask at the start of your scuba diving course because it will make all the difference. Having a well-fitting mask is the difference between a foggy, uncomfortable, leaky experience and seeing the underwater world as clear as possible. Especially if you need prescription lenses, taking the time in advance to make sure you get a mask with prescription lenses in it. All the 2-celled ones can do it. Just get in touch with your local dive shop. They can organize it for you. We'll just elevate your dive course to new levels. However, please make sure you're not buying cheap dive gear just because you see it on special or it's in some plastic packaging in your local sports shop. take the time, watch some of my videos, learn about how to tell what's good quality, and then find a mask that fits to your face. Because I can't tell you one model that's gonna work, because it will depend on the fit when you inhale and it actually sticking to your face without you holding it. That is the key thing. But you want the silicone to be soft. You want it to be from one of these good brands, because usually they're high quality. And honestly, it's not going to be the cheapest mask. It's going to sit somewhere between $70 and $120. Chris, hi! Going to do your advanced open water certification soon, and you wanted to know the difference between 30 meters and 20 meters. So the biggest difference, of course, is the pressure to volume relationship. The safety stop is there as a safety. So whether you're at 20 or 30 meters, it's non-decompression diving. At deeper depths, there's color. You're going to be going through your air much faster, and you might see some cool wrecks. So hope that answers your question, Chris. And Andy, you got a great question about promoting the oceans without creating new sources of plastic. So as you said, it is a very deep question, and there is so much I can talk about it. I'll probably make a whole video about it, and it is a thing I struggle with, because as you guys know, I like testing out scuba equipment to make sure I can recommend the best quality stuff for you guys. While I think buying secondhand is the optimal solution, I know it's not what many people are going to be doing. So at least if you're going to be buying new, then you want to be buying from companies who are moving towards sustainability through choosing recyclable packaging, minimizing their carbon shipping emissions, investing in researching more sustainable option, using limestone as opposed to neoprene-based wetsuits, things like this, and want to make sure they're high quality so they will last a long time. So buying one item that's going to be in your life for 10, 15 years is a lot better than buying multiple items that disintegrate after 1 or 2 years. I've so far in my dive life have had 2 dive computers, one of which just died after I got it when I was 14, and when I was 20, I gave it as a present to my father, who used it for another 8 years. So I really believe that any dive equipment you have, if you wash it properly in fresh water, don't dry it in the sun, and take care of it, can last you a long time. But yes, how are we meant to protect the world without encouraging new plastic? Buy secondhand as much as you can. This camera was secondhand. My light was secondhand. Everything you see here is secondhand. So buy less. Make conscious decisions. Do you need things? If you're going to be traveling, try and find a more eco-friendly option, whether it's by train. Do sailing trips as opposed to speedboat trips. It's just such a big issue. But yeah, non-virgin plastics. Of course, recycled plastics are good, but then there's that whole thing about recycled plastics emitting even more microfibers. I haven't gotten into that, but yes, it's a big topic. Thanks, Andy, for opening an existential crisis, but I think it's such an important thing to talk about, and I hope this can start a little conversation. What do you guys think? How can we best protect our oceans without using new plastics? What suggestions do you have? Let me know. What can you add to what I've already said? An advice of how to grow a YouTube channel on sustainability and climate change related issues. So props to you for wanting to tackle such a difficult subject. It is quite depressing, and the more research you do about it, the more, in your own head you might get. A couple tips I would recommend is doing some research about climate change, communication, and how to best reach a wide audience. There's some fantastic resources I'll link below in terms of the best scientific communication of those topics. So make sure you're very clear about what you want your channel to be. 2, don't hate, blame, or point fingers at people, because people just feel ostracized. They don't want more negative news. So an option for solutions and hope. And then do it because you want to do it, because you think it's the right thing to do, and because you love doing it. I've been on Ocean Pancake now for about 6-7 years, and there's definitely days where I have started crying because I thought I've wasted so much of my time and effort because my channel wasn't growing as much as I thought it should do, or because a video I put in so much time and effort to didn't get as many views as I want. And those views and likes are right there in front of our face, and it's really hard to ignore. So even though it is so much about the mission, and I love creating videos and I love diving and I love sharing all this, there are days where it gets hard. So just be ready for those. And always come back to, what's your mission? My mission is to save our oceans one dive at a time and inspire you guys to make small, sustainable choices in your everyday life for a bigger impact. What's the most dangerous situation I've been in while scuba diving? So I've had quite a few dangerous situations, but I'll tell you the first one that kind of popped into my mind, and that is, I was on a safety stop with some of my certified divers, 3-minute, 5-meter safety stop, just hanging out, just doing our thing. I turned around because I had to signal at someone. They had to come up a little bit so they would do their safety stop. I turned around to someone else, double checked they're okay, was checking someone's air, and then I had this funny feeling. And I look around and everyone, I don't know how to describe it, just looked a little scattered. I looked at my depth gauge and we were suddenly at 17 meters. Within a minute, we had gone from 5 meters down to 17 meters. That's because there was a down current there, and it came out of absolutely nowhere. The surface had picked up in current, and there was a current going parallel to the reef, and we were just on the reef's edge, but we were hanging out at 5 meters. You know, there was a small current there, nothing extreme. We were kicking against it slightly while I was holding to my safety sausage. And that's the crazy thing. I was holding my safety sausage and it still pulled me down to 17 meters of depth. So this down current was extremely strong. I, of course, signaled to all my students straight away, customers straight away, got everyone to come up, and we surfaced at that point as I called the end of the dive. People were already at like 70 bar, so it was about time to end the dive anyway. But that really scared me, because if someone had been caught deeper and it pulled them deeper than, you know, the 17 meters, if I didn't realize fast enough, if someone was lower on air, there's so many ways these situations can go really bad. And that's why I always encourage you guys, go diving is where you get a proper safety briefing, know what you can expect. And even if you can't expect something, always check your depth gauge, always check your air. Do not push the limits. Do not overstay your deco. Do not go like, oh, I have 50 bar. I can probably stay to 40 or 30. Just go up to the surface. The reason we have that safety of 50 bar is if this happens and you're, you know, sitting at 60 bar and you go all the way down, and then you have to ascend at a safe rate and then potentially redo part of that safety stop, that you have enough air. So please, guys, take care of yourself, check your depth gauges, because that did very much scare me. Then I got another question from Alex, which you have a long hose set, which I dive with. I think he means a hoka, basically a long hose that goes from the surface, that pushes air from the surface along this long hose directly into a regulator. A lot of people use it to clean hulls, go abalone fishing or something like that. No, I do not have one of those. I either use compressed air in a scuba tank, standard aluminum or steel tank, or then I'm free diving, which when I clean my sailboat's hull, for example, I'm free diving. And do I have a wing? So my Hydros Pro BCD that you guys would have seen in a heap of my footage is a kind of wing style. It's a bit of a hybrid between the traditional vest style and the wing style BCD, as in the air doesn't go around me like a jacket. It kind of sits more on my back. Guys, if you're getting into professional diving, do not get a wing style BCD. It's so much comfortable in terms of your buoyancy and just being comfortable in the water. But if you're teaching and you're on the surface, which you are so much of the time, the wing will keep pushing you forward. So just don't do it. See you guys next time.